Hello and welcome to this vlog. Well, no, it's not really a vlog. I'd like to relay just something that I learned with my therapist, who unfortunately has passed away now, but she was an amazing therapist. She was Anne-Marie Halliwell, and the company that she had at the time was called CMCG Consultancy, and I was referred to her by about 2 or 3 different people, and I was going through some life changes quite a long while ago, and I needed to get these things sorted out. Without going into too much detail, it was quite typical of the whole marriage breaking down, or I didn't realise the marriage was breaking down, but anyway, at the time, but difficulties in marriage, sort of life changes and career changes, and all of those things were all happening at the same time, over a short period of time. And what I wanted to do was to really just expand on one of the techniques of NLP that Anne-Marie helped me with over a lot of things that it took quite a long time for me to, through therapy sessions, etc., to overcome, fears about things and understanding how things were working. And, there's a whole process that goes along with any form of psychotherapy. But one of the things that kind of stood out to me, and I really love using this technique with people as well myself now, but it's about second and third positioning, but in a kind of a timeline grid. Okay, if you can imagine something like a chessboard, and not as big as a normal chessboard, but that kind of grid. And so you're being asked to place yourself where you currently are, somewhere in the middle of the grid, and typically you kind of choose the middle of the grid, and then you're asked, where is the future? Which way is the future? Which way is the past? And then so you kind of visualize that, and then you are taken through a process whereby you imagine yourself, how you're feeling right now. What is it you're thinking, feeling, seeing, hearing, with your, with whatever the particular issue that you have at that particular time. And then you can visualize yourself. So you actually then physically, this is something you physically do with people, which I find really quite good, is you are then taken back. So you can go back, and you go back however long you want to go back. Go back to a time where you felt like you were happy, that things were going well for you, and you go back, and that could be a year, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, it doesn't really. And then you are taken through a process where you look at yourself in where you were in your current position, and you can feed back, take a look at how you are, how are you behaving, what are you thinking, what can you see yourself listening to, and it's a very interactive and quite deep and very revealing process about one of this sort of technique with NLP. And so you can then you feed back that information. You don't have to vocalize it to the therapist if you don't want to, but it helps to kind of say it out loud, because you can hear yourself saying it. That's an eye-opener in itself. And then you can go into the future to see what it's like to go ahead of time, and you can pick a time. You can go forward 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and you can look back towards. So from the future, you look back towards yourself, and again, you go through the similar process about what is it you're seeing, hearing, feeling, about yourself in the present position, in sort of today's position, but from the future. And again, that can be a very enlightening, very, very enlightening process to go through. And it stays with you, when you go through that therapy, that kind of therapy, it's actually quite profound. It was for me, because it allows you, and it's not something you do like within the first couple of sessions, because it can be quite profound and a bit of an eye-opener, and it can actually be quite deep, as in deep inside here, because you can kind of see yourself where you were, and you can see yourself or visualize what you're going to be like in the future, and you get that information. And of course, this is where it all comes from. It's deep in your kind of subconscious, in your psyche, as it were. And it can be, I guess, for some people, depending on what they're wanting to deal with, it can be quite traumatic because it is such an eye-opener. And so it's just a small technique. Now, hopefully I've explained how this kind of works. I mean, the majority of people do understand the process of going through that, but to have a therapist, if you like, take you through that process and guide you through it, and then of course you'll at the end of that session, you're then taken back into your present position again, and then you change state. You need to shake it off and change state, but then still recall the whatever messages or such like came through for you in both of those different timelines, as it were. So that's just one technique that I like to use with people, and it works really, really well. And that technique, I think, was probably one of the most key things that I remember from my own therapy sessions, and just wanted to share that with you as one of the tools of NLP. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you again soon in another video.